Thank you. So, yes, thank you for your messages. Lovely to see that. Please do keep the chat coming. It's great for our panelists to see you. Thank you for the hello. It's good to see you all again. So, let's welcome today's panel. I have two more lovely presenters for you. Thank you for the emoji love as well. As our panelists come in, send them some love. We have Karin and we have Fred today. Hello to you both. Bit of a
Hello, good
wait.
Hello.
afternoon.
Afternoon. And morning. Well, good afternoon to Karin. Good morning to Fred. We're saying we're all spread out across the world today, which is always awesome with our online updates. But Karin, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you. How about yourself?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Always love seeing pictures of polar bears, Karin. And this topic's been pretty popular, so I think everybody else does too, right?
Yes, everybody's hoping to see polar bears today, but we have much more to tell you.
Yeah, much more to Manitoba, which we will learn about today. Fred will be focusing on the wildlife. So Fred, joining us from Manitoba, how are you today?
I'm doing very well, thank you, and very excited to be here yet again. We did the two last night, and it's wonderful to be here now to be with the group again. So thank you for that, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Fred. Third time lucky for our UK agents, so which is amazing. So the format today is Karin's going to go first. She's going to do a bit of an overview on Manitoba as a province, and then Fred here from Lazy Bear Expeditions will take a bit of a deeper dive into some product in Churchill. Like I said, seeing some lovely wildlife pictures and all the amazing things you can do up there. So Fred, we will temporarily say goodbye to you. Thank you so much. We'll see you in a bit and we'll get ready for Karin's introduction to Manitoba. So, Karin, you are the local representative for UK and Germany for Travel Manitoba. I'm sure you've seen some of the agents around as well, right?
I think so. I've been in the UK a couple of times already on road shows with Travel Gossip especially and other events. So I'm sure some of you have seen me and I've met you also.
Yes, and you're coming over to Scotland soon, right, for more Travel Gossip roadshows.
In June, we'll be there in the beginning of June in Glasgow and Edinburgh, and hopefully some of you will be there.
Yeah, nice one. Well, we will get on with today's online update. So, Karin, over to you.
Mhm. Okay, thank you, Charlie, for the warm welcome. Hello, everybody from my side as well. Thanks for joining our session this afternoon. And yeah, I'm happy to introduce you to our beautiful province of Manitoba and take you on a Canadian adventure, totally off the beaten path now. So to start with, sorry, here we go. To start with, let's locate Manitoba. We are right in the center of Canada, surrounded by Saskatchewan in the west, Ontario in the east, and in the north, there is Nunavut and a part of the coast of Hudson Bay. How do we get to Manitoba? Unless you arrive on a road trip coming from one of our neighboring provinces, most Manitoba trips begin in our provincial capital of Winnipeg, which I've earmarked in this map here. Winnipeg is located right on Trans-Canada Highway. You can either fly to Winnipeg from the UK, that would be a connecting flight through Montreal or Toronto, or you could arrive by train as Via Rail's Canadian stops in Winnipeg on its way from Toronto to Vancouver. And once you've arrived in Winnipeg, you're probably totally in for a surprise. It's the largest city of the prairies with almost 800,000 people calling it home. It's an exciting city, multicultural, very modern and creative, but at the same time, it has deep Indigenous roots. There are many festivals and powwows and art exhibitions and music events, all offering countless opportunities for urban explorers. Winnipeg also has an outstanding culinary scene with many great restaurants, including one of the still very few Indigenous restaurants in all of Canada. And it also features some absolutely world-class attractions, as the Canadian Museum for Human Rights, for instance, which you can see on the left in this image. It is one of Canada's national museums and one of the few outside the capital region of Ottawa. The museum amazes with its unique and stunning architecture and, of course, But it's also a very, very special place from the inside. It uses thought-provoking, interactive exhibits to highlight different perspectives on human rights worldwide, and it's really a must-visit when you are in Winnipeg. The museum is located right at the Forks, a National Historic Site at the confluence of two rivers, the Red River and the Assiniboine River. And you can see it quite nicely in the picture on the left here on my slide. The Forks has always been a busy meeting place. Already the Indigenous peoples used it as a place for ceremonies more than 6,000 years ago. And still today, there's always something going on at the Forks. Another great museum in Winnipeg is the Inuit Art Center Kalmayuk, which is part of the Winnipeg Art Gallery. It is home to the world's largest public collection of Inuit art, with more than 14,000 beautiful pieces of art, and more than 5,000 of them are on display in a 3-story visible vault. That's really, really impressive. The Royal Aviation Museum of Western Canada tells the story of aviation in Western and Northern Canada. It moved to brand new facilities near the airport a little while ago and features 22 airplanes and a huge selection of other aviation-related artifacts. A little outside the city center, there is Assiniboine Park, which is home to the city's zoo. And this zoo features an exhibit called Journey to Churchill, offering a sneak peek of the wildlife that you could expect to see in northern Manitoba, in Churchill, on the coast of Hudson Bay. And that includes polar bears, of course. Assiniboine Park is also home to Winnipeg's newest attraction called The Leaf. This is a large indoor garden, which is part of Canada's Diversity Gardens, and it houses 4 unique biomes as well as Canada's tallest indoor waterfall. The Historic Exchange District used to be Winnipeg's economic hub at the turn of the 20th century, and it is known for its beautiful historic buildings reminding of old Chicago. Today, it's the city's arts and cultural center with galleries, boutiques, restaurants, cool cocktail bars, and breweries, so a good place to go out at night. Winnipeg is not just a great place to visit, it's also the gateway for a road trip through Manitoba's south. Your clients could explore the region either by rental car or even by motorhome, as there is a family-owned company near Winnipeg renting a small fleet of RVs. So if you have clients interested in that kind of experience, just reach out to me and I'll be happy to connect you with Styling's RV. But now let's hit the road. We first drive eastwards to Whiteshell Provincial Park. After just 2 hours drive, we reach this beautiful park area featuring a rocky landscape with forests and lots of water. There are more than 200 lakes in this park alone. This is the typical scenery of the Canadian Shield, and all this makes, of course, a beautiful backdrop for all kinds of outdoor activities, be it hiking or biking or paddling or simply fun days on the beaches and cliffs. And there are even guided horseback rides offered by Falcon Beach Ranch. Whiteshell Provincial Park is also home to the Bannock Point Petroforms, a sacred site of the Anishinaabe, featuring rocks arranged in the shapes of turtles or snakes. Our next stop is Giant Lake Winnipeg, which is far away from any ocean, but reminds more of a sea, but a lake. It's so big. It is one of Manitoba's 100,000 lakes and rivers, and it's the largest lake in the province and even the 12th largest freshwater lake in the world. However, we just visit the smaller southern part of Lake Winnipeg, since the larger part further north lies in complete wilderness and cannot be reached. Lake Winnipeg projects a real maritime atmosphere, and you can enjoy sunny beach days at many beaches on the lake's southern shores. A little further north, on the lake's west side, is the cozy coastal village of Gimli, where fishing was the way of life. Visitors can watch sailboats and yachts launching from the marina and enjoy the long beach with its great offer for water sports activities. Gimli also looks back on a long Icelandic heritage. This is why a huge Viking made of stone watches over the coast here. We finally reach Hecla Grindstone Provincial Park with its centerpiece Hecla Island, a rugged island with picturesque limestone shorelines and the beautiful old Hecla Lighthouse. The diverse landscape of the park is home to a large number of wildlife species, including an impressive colony of pelicans. There's also the little village of Gull Harbor, which is a great gateway to year-round activities in the stunning scenery of Hecla Island. It is especially known as a hotspot for fishing, but there's so much more to do for outdoor lovers, both on and off the water. You can rent bikes, kayaks, and jet skis right at the marina. So our next stop is Riding Mountain National Park in Manitoba's southwest. It rises above the surrounding prairie, sitting atop the Pembina Escarpment, and is a natural oasis of woodland forest, prairie grasslands, marshes, and boreal forest. With its different ecosystems, this park offers great opportunities for wildlife viewing, since moose, wolves, black bears, elk, and many other species call the park home. There is also a resident herd of prairie bison, and you can go on a bison photo safari right on your own vehicle. The park also offers perfect terrain for all kinds of outdoor activities, as hiking, biking, canoeing, or horseback riding, for instance. And don't forget the park's town site, Wasagaming, right on beautiful Clear Lake. This little village is very laid back, featuring just a few hotels, restaurants, and shops, and definitely no large international tour groups. It's more the locals who spend their holidays here, and that's actually the case for all of Manitoba. Here, you can enjoy a real, authentic Canadian holiday. From Riding Mountain National Park, we now head back to Winnipeg. And on this trip, we drove around 1,200 kilometers or 750 miles, a pretty relaxed distance, allowing lots of time for activities en route. This tour would be a perfect recommendation for clients who have been to Canada before, have fallen in love with the country, and are now keen to explore new things in their favorite destination. So Winnipeg is not just a great place to visit and the gateway for a road trip through southern Manitoba, as we just heard. It's also the gateway for a subarctic safari in Churchill, in the province's north, on the coast of Hudson Bay. Now, Churchill is really off the beaten path. It's around 1,000 kilometers or 620 miles north of Winnipeg, and there is no road access. You can either fly there from Winnipeg, that's a 2.5 hours flight, or you can take the train that takes 2 days and 2 nights to get there. In Churchill, everything is about subarctic wildlife, especially polar bears, of course, as Churchill is known as the polar bear capital of the world. But there are, of course, different seasons offering habitat for different wildlife species, and also other natural phenomena and other activities you can explore year-round. The summer brings the lovely beluga whales into Hudson Bay, and you can see them in many different ways. But also polar bears are around in summer, and from mid-August, when the darkness returns at night, you even have chances to spot the beautiful northern lights, as Churchill is located right below the aurora oval and has more than 300 nights of aurora activity per year. Our main polar bear season, however, is in fall. From the beginning of October, all the polar bears that were spread along the coast of Hudson Bay in the summer make their way to the Churchill area to wait for the bay to freeze over again. So you have great chances to see many polar bears in that season. Winter, finally, is the main season for northern lights. Operators in Churchill offer very unique experiences to view them. Have you, for instance, ever dined under the dancing aurora? It's a pretty amazing experience. There are also many other activities on offer in winter, from dog sledding to snowshoeing and also fat biking. But we'll hear much more about Churchill from Fred of Lazy Bear Expeditions in a minute, so I leave all the details with him and come to an end with my general introduction to Manitoba. So here are my contact details. If you have any questions, please raise them in the chat, send me an email. I will also send you a follow-up mailing after this webinar next week, probably, so you know whom to contact in the UK market if you have any questions about Manitoba.